let's say, for example, I have a tiny little spider that I've noticed up in the corner of the room that I'm sitting in right now. Just a tiny little spider. It looks quite harmless to me. It probably is harmless, as most spiders are. And you know what? It doesn't really take much of my attention. I can actually return my attention back to you, and I've acknowledged that it's there, but it's really not that hard to come back to you and to keep talking and to focus my attention here and remain engaged. Well, that's all well and good for a tiny spider, but let's imagine for a second that I had a big, hairy, nasty-looking spider up there. Huge. And now all of a sudden, as soon as I've noticed this massive spider up in the corner of my room, I'm going to find it much, much harder for me to return my attention back to you, to remain engaged in whatever activity I'm doing. I can't. I've perceived it too big of a threat, and it's going to keep taking my attention until I feel like I've resolved that threat, until I've solved the problem, and it's no longer a threat to me. So we can use this, it might seem contrived, but this simple example of a small spider versus a big spider to help us make sense of why it is sometimes that we find it hard to distract ourselves from, internal threats, automatic thoughts and feelings that come up for us, that we find it really hard to kind of turn our mind off of, to distract ourselves from. Now, let's say, as is often the case with anxiety, we notice pain in our chest, or maybe an increase in our heart rate. Now, small spider version is we notice that change in our heart rate, or the physiological changes, the sensations in our chest. We pay quick attention to it and we say, okay, this is consistent with the current situation. I have a test to do or something like that. I need to study for it and take that test and do well. And we quickly take our attention away from the monitoring the physiological changes in our chest and our heart, and we can turn our attention back to preparing for the test. But if I thought, and this is the big spider version, if I thought that those physiological changes were more of a threat, if I thought I was having a heart attack, I wouldn't be able to take my attention away from those physiological sensations. I wouldn't be able to turn my attention back to preparing for the test. I would continue to monitor those thoughts. I would continue to monitor those feelings. Why? Because I perceive them to be a threat. There's no amount of trying to throw myself into my study for the test, or watching TV, or reading a book, or doing exercise, anything that can really meaningfully take my attention away from the perceived threat that I have in these changes in my feelings, in my chest. I'm going to continue fearing those sensations so long as they're still there, so long as the threat is still in the environment. So often what we do with these kinds of perceived threats is that we get out of the situation that is causing the perceived threat. Quite simpler to do when we're talking about external threats like a spider. Well, we get out of the room. Or in the case of someone or something making us uncomfortable, and causing internal cues that we see as threatening, like the increase in our heart rate from being anxious in the presence of somebody, we can again remove ourselves from the room. But oftentimes with thoughts and feelings, we cannot just remove ourselves from an environment in order to cease the discomfort. The uncomfortable thoughts and feelings, they follow us, and they will continue to follow us so long as we continue to appraise them as threatening or harbingers of something bad, something that we need to pay attention to. And therein lies the paradox of experiential avoidance. The more we try to not feel or think a certain thing, the more we kind of assign a negative valence to that thing, and therefore we will think and feel more of it. It's cruel, but therein kind of lies the solution as well. If assigning something as having a negative valence is the problem, I know what I need to do in order to re-engage my attention elsewhere, to no longer get so caught up in it. And it's not going to be from labeling something as bad, a thought or a feeling as bad or dangerous. No, I'll continue to think and feel that thing if I do that. No, it comes more from being able to see that thought or feeling for what it truly is. A neutral bit of data or information that we're receiving from, a cue in our environment or an internal cue. We are perceiving this bit of information. If I perceive this increased heart rate as just an increased heart rate and not the signs of a heart attack, if I just see it as this neutral change in my physiology, I won't really continue to pay attention to it. I don't need to. I'm not labeling this as a threat. I'm not waving a red flag and saying, pay attention to this. So I don't. And there are, fortunately, a number of really helpful psychological techniques, strategies that can help us to reappraise our thoughts and feelings, our experience. Diffusion, attention techniques, and other cognitive strategies, they kind of are all aimed at trying to get us to reappraise these automatic thoughts and feelings, these things that can cause us so much distress if we just respond in a reactive, habitual kind of way to them. They can be really freeing and really empowering. Some people prefer the diffusion or the more mindfulness-oriented techniques. Some people prefer the more cognitive or CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy techniques. At the end of the day, though, they're all kind of doing a very similar thing. Fortunately, we'll be talking about some of these things in our conversations going forward. And you'll see how there are much more useful techniques than just distraction.